We start off at the top of the page with why some scientists now think there is a third state between life and death, which...
I've been there. It's working for Harringay Council.
I was going to say, you could have picked quite a few there. The Sky newspaper reviews.
Just Stop Oil, we can keep going, couldn't we? But yes, we don't get as far. We only get the title, the heading here.
Tuesday night at the Hackney Empire.
And then the main stories on the front page is the verdict with Strictly is alongside the world holding its breath as Israel set to invade Lebanon, which is pretty much likely. I think the invasion's already sort of starting at the moment, and a missile has been sent, another missile sent to Israel. Of course, this started with Hezbollah's attacks on Israel ever since October the 8th, so a day after the Hamas attacks.
That, to be honest.
Yes, of course, it goes
Some
back
people
years.
are saying this has been going on for years.
This particular set of instances.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's holding their breath. They say the world holds their breath. Like, if we held our breath for peace to happen in the Middle East, we'd die.
I mean, if I'd started watching World in Action with Yasser Arafat squatting in the middle of the desert in about 1987, that's when I first became aware of it.
It's interesting that both Israel and Ukraine have kind of stopped telling America what they're going to do in advance now. Before the invasion into Russia, Ukraine didn't inform them or ask their permission anymore. Yeah. And whilst the Harris-Biden administration, if it's still called that, I'm not sure, constantly saying de-escalation, it's not really seeming to be reading the world's room very well. And what you had after Israel did that attack with the pagers and the walkie-talkies, and hit the underground bunker where Hezbollah were meeting, and then have taken out almost all of the top brass of Hezbollah in a matter of 8 days. And whilst America is still saying de-escalation is a bit like if you were playing a game of chess against a grandmaster and you just pulled off a queen's gambit or a queen's trap or something, or you stand a good chance of winning, and then being told to end the game and accept a draw. So Israel's not going to step back at this moment. It's going to take advantage of having got an advantage.
I think there's caught pretty much the entire world on the hop, hasn't it? The extent to which this has all been a sequential series of as you say, either escalations or simply victories, or they've scalped scalp after scalp, and as you say, they've got the momentum behind them now. I don't think anyone
and a lot of mixed feelings, and people celebrate. I mean, there's obviously many different factions in Iran, in Lebanon, and so on. But there's a lot of people who celebrate Arabs who are celebrating the death of Nasrallah and so on.
Iran is going to do everything. Iran's going to retaliate. Iran is going to do nothing. They can't do anything. And they're so badly organised. So the former Iranian president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, revealed in an interview with CNN this week that Iran's secret service has created this special unit to root out Mossad. You root out Israeli intelligence operatives in Iran. And the unit that they made was actually made up of Mossad operatives.
Yes, amazing, isn't it?
And so what they did was they stole a bunch of nuclear secrets, killed a bunch of nuclear scientists, and then fled to Israel. So, I mean, I don't trust Iran to be able to organise anything.
And apparently people in the Lebanon have been already said that Iran has abandoned them. This is the word on the street.
Sure.
Does it carry on in the Telegraph as well, Leo, just with the...
The Telegraph mentions it as well. So Netanyahu warns Iran, you're in our sights. So he's really rattling the sabre. But I think for Netanyahu, this is about political survival and also, personal survival as well. He was really facing not just being thrown out and, was hugely unpopular, thrown out by voters, but also possibly facing prosecution at home. So this is the sort of thing. If he can pull off some crazy strategic victory against Hezbollah and Iran, then he can, preserve it. They'll be building statues to him instead.
Does it not seem that it's becoming quite a common feature of democratically elected leaders that they have to maintain power in order to avoid a series of ruinous
stay until the right war comes along. Fair the war can take you down or it can help you.
I mean, he's had an extraordinary political career. It goes back at least 25 years now. He's been at in the most volatile part of the world. He's a force of nature.
And Israel is facing a lot of problems, even though it looks like it's absolutely storming, the war against Hezbollah. It's economically, it's really up against the wall. Its economy is not doing well at all.
People are not buying walkie-talkies anymore.
That trade, the pager trade is going downhill. But also, there's 60,000 Palestinians who are going over to work in Israel, and they're not allowed to do it anymore for obvious reasons.
So no more Deliveroo in Tel Aviv either. And also, of course, perhaps even more significantly, demographic shifts in the wider world, and especially in America.
Yeah.
They're losing support. Kemi Badenoch now in the Mail, and she's on the back foot over her maternity pay comments. A Badenoch is most dangerous when cornered, in fact, however.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's actually a fact.
Wait, is this from a book of facts somewhere?
My
one you're
grandfather
writing?
taught me that in one of his nature walks.
I saw the interview with her with Laura Kunsberg, and it was where she was accused of saying maternity pay was excessive, which wasn't exactly what she was talking about. She was talking about business regulations and how that can prevent small businesses from growing and so on. I did think what she said was a little bit confused, and every now and then she does come out with one that, like a comment about being working class for a few minutes with the right job. And she did say that people had more children before maternity leave, which was also a slightly odd comment. She's not always the most direct, eloquent. She's very direct.
Yeah,
I think, isn't
we
she?
didn't have contraception then.
Yeah, I know, there was that as well. Yeah.
Didn't allow women in
Maybe
work.
that was a factor.
There is some truth to it. I think that it is possible to overstate the degree to which you can solve all the problems with fiscal measures and subsidies and what have you.
Yeah.
You know, but
At some point, you're going to have to get people and actually push them together.
Yeah.
And force.
Yeah.
Force
Can you
them
do that
to-
legally?
I don't. Well, we'll just
Really?
change the laws.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Handmaid's Tale?
Will it be-
That's our future.
Working class or immigrants? Who are we allowed to do this with? Is it everyone?
it is getting nasty now, though, isn't it, at the top of the Tory leadership? A little bit more needle as they approach the finishing line.
Yeah, which is also what she's complaining about here, people scoring points. I don't know. I mean, a part of it is that's just going to happen. We're at that stage now, aren't we, where they're going to tear into each other a little bit. But,
I think so. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't write her off just yet. Leo, we're staying with the Mail. Clearly, they're taking no pleasure at all in the ritual humiliation of a 13-year-old female rioter.
Yeah, so a girl, 13, cries on her mother's shoulder as she becomes the youngest female rioter sentenced after trying to kick down a migrant hotel door. So it says here, the 13-year-old girl, left migrants absolutely terrified. I mean, yeah, I'm sure these 22-year-old men from, former Janjaweed...
22-year-old boys, if you don't mind.
From, former child soldiers and stuff. I mean, sure they're terrified by this 13-year-old girl. Sort of flips things on the
Yes,
the
it
grooming
does.
gangs.
Well, that's exactly what occurred to me. You know, the idea that there are all these cowering Afghani fighting-age men behind a door in a hotel in a child of 13.
Maybe we should have said
Maybe we should
children.
just ask her how she feels about these new arrivals in her town, whether she feels any fear or anxiety.
That's the thing. I mean, this whole scenario could have been avoided if the government didn't place like illegal immigrants with people, with communities who haven't asked for them and where they cause friction. I mean, there's so many people who want them here. Gary Lineker, the ugly woman from Dragon's Den. There's loads of them. Just stick them in their houses. Like, just pass a law that says, listen,
Yes.
if you're gonna tweet saying, oh, they should all be here, then you get one. In fact, you get 5.
Absolutely.
You get 5. In fact, we
Team the ugly woman from The Apprentice.
Yeah, we just kick your door in. You're not allowed to lock anymore. If we're not allowed a border, you're not allowed a lock in your front door.
We should.
I don't think either of you have ever had a 13-year-old girl hitting and kicking your door, by the way.
It can be absolutely
Some
terrifying.
of these are awful.
Well, I'm sure in their mind that she was like 15 skinheads outside. You know, they had no idea. She hasn't. We should be clear about this. She's been sentenced to, community service or something.
She's got a 12-month referral order.
And a fine.
And a fine as well.
Yeah.
She'll be all right. Leo, erstwhile GB News presenter is struggling to get work in the education sector, according to The Independent. This is a worrying development for those of us who are worrying what we might move on to next.
Well, I was hoping it'd be a school janitor.
Yeah.
This guy can't get work as a teacher. So unemployed ex-Tory MP blames woke agenda for being unable to find a job. This is Jonathan Gullis, who appears on GB News frequently and is really interesting, but he's been unemployed since losing his Stoke-on-Trent North seat and claimed his political views have stopped him from getting interviews. Now, I think, there's been a lot of disdain towards him on social media, but this is a serious thing. I mean, I think you've got an almost McCarthyist mindset in a lot of institutions and corporations where any sort of expression of right-wing sentiment, no matter how evidence-based or how sensible it is sneered at, and everybody's got to be a pink-haired communist.
Yeah.
So,
and it is worth pointing out, by the way, I didn't know this until I saw the story and I read his Wikipedia page. He has got several years' experience as a teacher. He's been a teacher, a successful teacher, and he taught He said he always had a sort of persona that he taught in, which was quite sort of comical but well developed, and he was, popular and liked and so on. It's not somebody he's just decided to have a crack at, like
he undoubtedly,
like an ex-chancellor going on to edit the Evening Standard or something.
He'd be a great teacher, and he's had 30 interviews apparently for teaching positions and hasn't got any of them. So I think he's probably completely right.
But diversity is our strength.
Well,
that's what they keep saying. I honestly think that there's certain professions, teachers, emergency workers, and so on, that shouldn't be doing politics. I think it's a very odd place for politics to be happening in staff rooms and so on. People have views, but mainly keep it to themselves. But what we might have to do is keep the Tories back in, otherwise they won't be able to get any jobs.